Chiwenga is the next president. Retired general breaks silence. Murie Zimbabwe, Murie Zimbabwe. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button, share this one, because what we are about to unpack today is heavy. People are scared to say this out loud, but not us. Panopam Zindavan. We do what we do, fearless, bold, no filter. So over in Mnangagwa's camp right now, there is a real unease because a retired general, you would think a man in his position would want to fade quietly into retirement, instead came out loud and clear and said it. Chiwenga is the next president of Zimbabwe. Full stop. No maybe, no perhaps, no diplomatic hedging. Hansi Chiwenga is coming. Zimbabwe. This is retired Lieutenant General Winston Sigauke Mapranga. This is not a man you brush off, and he is not framing this as some wild guess or wishful thinking. He is saying this is how Zimbabwean politics actually works. Not through press statements, not through what politicians say on podiums, neither way, but through the quiet shifting of loyalties inside the party and inside the security establishment. In other words, the loud side is never the winning one. And according to him, those loyalties are shifting toward one man, Chiwenga. Now, here is where it gets spicy. Mapranga didn't stop at predictions. He went there. He compared what's happening right now to the final days of Robert Mugabe's rule. Remember that when the G40 faction rallied hard around Grace Mugabe, convinced they had it locked, convinced the old man would hand her the keys to State House, and then November 2017, Ndoba yaitika, and it all came crashing down in a matter of days. That's the comparison this retired general is putting on the table. He is saying, watch closely, because the people celebrating too early right now might be in for the same shock G40 got. And who is he pointing at as today's version of that overconfident faction? According to Mapranga, it's the establishment currently surrounding Mnangagwa, accused of sidelining Lacoste-aligned figures and war veterans. The very people who put their lives on the line during the 2017 transition, while allegedly building up a patronage network around new money and new loyalists. Some are calling it the Zigananda faction, the tenderpreneurs, the newly rich, the ones getting fat off government contracts, while the old guard that actually fought for this movement gets pushed to the margins. Now, Zimbabwe, let that sink in for a second. The same war veterans who stood behind tanks on Samora Machel Avenue in November 2017, the ones who made the Operation Restore Legacy story believable to the world, are now, according to this retired general, being iced out. And if that's true, that's not just a political story. That's personal. That's betrayal. That's the kind of thing that turns quiet soldiers into loud dissenters. Now, timing matters here. This isn't coming out of nowhere. This is dropping just weeks after Mnangagwa signed KB 3 into law. The bill that pushed his presidents out to 2030, that scrapped direct presidential elections in favor of parliament picking the president, that basically rewired the entire constitutional path to power in this country. On paper, CAB 3 was supposed to be the moment Chiwenga's presidential ambitions got buried for good. Mukataura nema analysts literally writing headlines vanenge vachibvunza kuti is Chiwenga finished? But here's the irony, Zimbabwe. The more Mnangagwa's camp celebrates, the more voices like Mapranga's are popping up saying, not so fast. Because signing a law is one thing. Controlling the military, controlling the war veterans, controlling the loyalty of the men with guns, That's a completely different battle. And Zimbabwe's history has taught us more than once what that whoever controls that loyalty ends up controlling the country, constitution or no constitution. Remember, this is the same Chiwenga who, alongside the military, was the architect of the very coup that put Mnangagwa in power back in 2017. The man knows exactly how this game is played because he has played it before from the winning side. So, when people say Chiwenga is finished, we have to ask, finished according to what? A piece of paper? A constitutional amendment his own rivals wrote to box him out? Since when has that stopped Zimbabwean politics before? Now, some of you are already saying, but this general is retired. What power does he even have anymore? That's exactly the point, Zimbabwe. This is not one active minister trying to protect his job by praising Chiwenga. This is a man who no longer needs anything from Nangagwa, no longer needs anything from Chiwenga, speaking as someone who has watched this system from the inside for decades. When men like that start talking, it's usually because they are reading signals the rest of us can't see yet. So, here is the real question we want to leave you with today. Is Mapranga simply an old soldier talking loud for attention, or is he telling us in coded language exactly where the loyalty of Zimbabwe's security establishment is actually heading in 2026? Because if the war veterans and the Lacoste faction really are quietly regrouping behind Chiwenga, the way this general is suggesting, then Cab 3 might not have solved Mnangagwa's succession problem at all. It might have just lit the fuse on the next one. Zimbabwe, drop your tech below. Is Chiwenga really on his way back, or is this just noise? Like this video, share it, and make sure you are subscribed. Pano pa mzinda wa vanhu Mtapa Times uri kutiona Facebook Inside Africa Network. Hatisi kuzoita slow down. We shall see you in the next one. Peace.